You know, it's Curt and Brad for the Natural Law Institute.
Here we are.
I don't know if you got yours too. My coaster stuck to my.
Oh, that's a black swan against a white background.
All right. So, sorry, just to get myself back in gear. Okay, so we're talking about the guys want a
Deliverable book
deliverable.
is the what we call the deliverables. They're calling a pamphlet now. That's fine. Which
Right.
is what we have created.
We've
And we
created
were
a
working on yesterday, not recorded.
Right, we did not record it yesterday. It was because it grew out of an ad hoc conversation.
That's right.
We were just having our normal afternoon review. 1 second.
What a nice mug.
It is. I've got to get 5 more until my housing situation is settled. I don't want to order anything. Anyway, so what we did is we discussed. So what Brad and I did is we went out and we created a new export of the pamphlet, or whatever we want to call it. Excuse me. And I sat with it and tweaked it a little bit last night, and I still can't get the goddamn page numbers.
Oh my.
But no idea why. Everybody knows the page numbering problem in Word is a pain in the ass, right?
Right.
But I'm still having a problem, even though I know how to do section breaks and start, but it's still a pain in the ass. So
right.
Anyway, so I've got some header and footer issues. All right, so anyway, I'm going to share it and show what we've got so far. And so the guys know that we've done the work. We're sort of in the get ready for publication phase.
Right, right.
And during that process, I've added a little bit of content. I've made content we should add.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And so you can see that. And where did they put you? They kept you in the right place this time? No.
Well, I'm randomized again, sir.
Randomized again. All right, so now I have a workspace I can see. And I think I can make it show my screen if I want. If I do this, you go up there, and I can make it look at my screen so I can see my screen. Yes, okay. Now it's a little better. All right, so this is, don't worry about fonts and such. It's just, we can change, like if I want to change this font, it's.
Right, no, I understand.
Nothing. All right. Brad and I produce this together, but we're including everyone at the Institute. There's a half title page, the title page, copyright page. I left something in here. This is what I originally made the copyright for.
Oh my.
So I think I got to pull that out.
Maybe so.
A quotes page, table of contents. We have the acknowledgements, as I do want to list a bunch of people here to give them credit.
Right.
We have the preface, which is about the Institute. What is our mission, right? We have the introduction, which is what you're about to see, and its context in the series of books we're producing.
Right.
So this is where you set expectations. So summarize, and set expectation.
Right.
Right. Because this is not a long book, right? This is a pamphlet.
It's a very short book.
Right. So then we go through the first principles, right? Then demonstrated interests. Then we are going to put in a section on biases.
Right.
Rocket science. Then because we need to set. We originally skipped it, but I felt like we have to include the variation, or I don't think the whole meaning gets across.
That's fair.
Then we have what consists of reciprocity. truth, the criteria for truth, which is quite long. But we had to
Uh,
go into quite a bit of detail,
And that's not even including the lies.
and that's not including law.
That's the shortest version that there can be.
Then we went into the logic, which is really quite simple. I have a few. The logic is a prelude to the grammars. I'm going to go for the grammars. And then there's, I've already written this, but just what does science mean? In other words,
Right.
I want to put the science, I found that when we did the logic and then the grammars, I needed the science to explain that it's just testimony,
Right.
right? And I wanted to bring out the sciences as we use them, the sets of them before, during, and after. Then I go into how the method works,
Right.
right? And then what did we do next? We summarized it, right? And that's the book. Now usually there's back matter, but there's no need for an index. It's too short.
Very short.
The whole fucking thing is a glossary. I mean, I don't know. Do I just make a list of the key terms and reference the first time we define them? I can see that having some use, right?
Minimal marginal utility.
It would seem really small to me, given that I just don't, and I'm, the reason I'm opening it up is for the guys who watch this to offer practical suggestions.
Help us out and leave some suggestions below, fellows.
Because if you look at this thing, almost everything is a definition, because that's what we're doing. We're defining terms of universal commensurability. So, like I say, a speaker is the person articulating the term or expression. You know, I go to how many dimensions does a verb have, right? So the whole book is essentially a glossary, right? It's the relationship between the terms and the terminological interdependence that determines the meaning. So, it's a lot of our stuff is definitions, because definitions are what prevent inflation, conflation, fictionalism, etc.
Unambiguous terminology.
Right. So that's what we've got. Now, do you think that's the right subject matter for a book?
Yes.
I think it's what we want to convey. And I think the only thing that would happen is if somebody didn't read where's the introduction? The introduction to know what we were doing, that's
the key right there.
That would be
set expectations, because this is the continuation of the work of Aristotle, Aquinas, Darwin, in that order, and completing the work, properly adhering the human, the social sciences, the psychology, sociology, anthropology, politics, and religion into the context of the natural sciences, right? Unambiguously doing so. And it's like it is monumental proportions what we have done here, right? And we're laying out the groundwork for you to be able to understand what follows, which is the pamphlet, which I would call the book, and then the science, which is the multi-volume series, which follows, proving it all to be true and unavoidably so, right? But it is necessary to lay all that out ahead of time, so that when I give it to my dear friend, the professor, wherever, and he reads it, it's like, wow, what the hell are these boys claiming here, right? And now it's demanding attention because it's claiming audacious claims, right?
Martin's core concepts ends up being what we had originally wanted to position as the philosophy.
Okay,
That ends up being that. So we start with a pamphlet, the core concepts, and then we continue with the rest of the books. And that's
it's an increasing detail as you dive in.
yes.
And so more proofs will follow, but here's the outline, the rough outline of the logical set, right?
Right. So why are we producing this?
No, that's a good question, isn't it? No, that's a very peculiar question too, right?
It's basically a quick reference guide.
Okay. Right, it gives you bearings
Mhm.
on any argument that we may present will follow within this program here.
We could at a later date. We could at a later date actually make hyperlinks from this to.
Right, and they were asking about a PDF version of it, right?
Oh, they want, this is a PDF. We're looking at a.
Well, they were looking for a PDF and it's like so electronically functional, something like
We
that.
can distribute it as a PDF because that's what we'll do prior to printing, right? I mean,
Okay, I'm just hanging
no,
on.
I'm worried that they're confused. I'm
They're
not.
they're
saying-
probably more confused than they would prefer to be. And that's okay. They would just disabuse them of their confusion and they'll be okay.
What is this?
They're quite sharp though, so you know.
They are?
The gentlemen were quite sharp this morning and I was just very impressed by their behaviors. And that's for you, gentlemen. I'll tip my hat, and I have my hat. I'm gonna tip it right for you here, and this tip of the hat because it's like I'm very impressed by the crew that we have in our staff.